Hello everyone, welcome to another past life reading. I've been doing quite a few of them recently, so I thought I'd be opportunistic while the angels are holding the doors open to do a reading where we just pop in and have a little fun and just go back to any random time that the angels want to bring us back to. So kind of tune into your card. I just put different color stones as a sort of secondary element for you to kind of tune into. I'm an organic reader, so you will see me remove the cards, shuffle cards, do the charms. So use timestamps below if you just want to jump ahead. You can pause if you need more time. Otherwise, I'm just going to slide groups 2 and 3 out, and we'll head into card number 1, group number 1, sort of trip number 1 here. Okay, so we are going to see kind of where we're going. I'm not going to look at that card yet. I'm going to do the charms first, and then we'll pair the cards, and then we'll start with the cards. So maybe I'll just stick it up here by the charms for now, and then we'll pull that back. Okay. So the charms are going to help us see where we're going back to, what time the angels are going to take us, maybe a lesson, what was the life story, what was our journey or your journey, sort of what was your path then, and maybe how it connects to today's path, who you are now. Okay, we're kind of sticking up over here. Okay, maybe over here. Yep, okay. I'm just going to do one more pass just to make sure. Okay, feels like that's where we're going to be hanging out here. So there's a soul link. So there's this searching, looking for. I am looking at how the charm went the same angle as the word writing. So maybe that's the profession that you were doing, a writer, maybe anything that has to do with writing. We have Roman Empire, a revolution perhaps, and then we have the year 1895. So we'll see where we're going, but it is touching here on a legal activity. So maybe you worked in the courts, maybe you took records of people's payments, landlords like back in those times. We also have ancient Rome and the Colosseum, so it's interesting to see. So maybe it's less so Russian Empire, and we're going more to ancient Rome, but some kind of revolution. Fast change and sort of the head, so either the head of society or the head of the family. And then we got politics over here that it's touching on with family, kind of connecting politics, family, and sort of the third corner here is on next big challenge, a past life tool. So maybe that's why the angels are bringing us back here. So interesting story here, already kind of developing on where we're going. So I'm just going to adjust my seat here a little bit better. Okay, so let's get some cards to help further describe this past life to us. Further elaborate on what was this life story, what was this life in politics, writing. Okay. You kind of want me to just lift that one out of the way. All right. So I'll keep the cards nearby if we need to. I'll just back up the charms. Stone wasn't for any other purpose than to kind of card selection. So let's see, where are we starting here? Well, there is this sense of hiding out. So maybe a secret love story here, right? They're hiding out in the bunker, hugging each other. If we are going to ancient Rome, I feel like this could be under the Colosseum, right? The gladiators were in the tunnels. So perhaps I was talking about prison here. When we've got illegal activities and writing. So maybe you were sent, either you were the partner, right, having to say goodbye, or maybe you were sent off to serve time in the Colosseum, serve your time as for their enjoyment. But I don't think you lasted there long, just from the swiftness here of sort of the world coming to an end, sort of the world crashing in. So maybe you were near the fall, like the end of slavery and kind of the gladiator Colosseum sort of lifestyle that the Romans had. I mean, this is starting to feel like the actual movie Gladiator, right? Because they did revolt, right? They rose up from the tunnels to revolt against and no longer be gladiators to win their freedom. So maybe that's where we're going here. Maybe I'll keep this up here. I'll just angle it. Oh, it might not stay on the bowl. Okay. So should I do, maybe we'll walk. No, I already did a pass on the charm. So let's dig into the rest of the story here, and then we'll see how the charms further elaborate. Well, we do have that sense of ownership, right? Landlord, the meat in front of the labor here, right? Here's your freedom, but first you have to do this for me. You have to entertain me here, right? Fishing is a form of entertainment, a hobby, a pastime. Then we have him chained to the wheel here, right? Like he can't go anywhere. So definitely a repeat sensation, this feeling of ownership, right? Possession of the car. A car is a possession, and you're kind of chained to it, and almost like in a horse stock or stall, right? I don't know if gladiators had stalls that you were kind of in, as they bring me to the red, green, yellow kind of light here. Maybe that's when the gate would open and you'd have to run out and fight. I wonder why they're choosing such a familiar time historically for us to bring you back to. Well, here we have the lovers, the saying goodbye there. So clearly this was a soulmate story, just the way how you're both kind of holding the heart and the gifts here of love, sort of the passion, the essence, the fuel of your passion. So this may have been a lifetime, one of the lifetimes that you first were with or got to spend with your soulmate, soul energy. Maybe that's why they're bringing this story forward. Maybe you're currently in a soulmate relationship, or you're about to enter one. Maybe you're a widow of your soulmate energy, just because there's a lot of flowers here. Even the mowing had flowers. So some of you came to just kind of validate that, yes, that was your soulmate. And then the last card is Fortune, and she's kind of spinning the wheel here on her own, right? Manifesting. All of the swords are kind of, all the knives here are missing her. So I feel like this is like a turn of events. In this lifetime, you achieved good fortune. So maybe this is her saying goodbye. And like I said, you didn't last long. So either you were part of the revolution and succeeded, or you battled quickly and won your freedom and you were back in her arms. You were her and you waited and he was back in your arms. Because there's this kind of like gold pot, full, sort of the treasure right at the end of the rainbow. That's how I'm feeling it and reading it. You succeeded in not only attaining your freedom, but all the wealth that went with it. And the parallel to this lifetime might be that you went through a tough time, right? You had to battle, maybe you had to answer to other people, but then through it, you obtained your definition of freedom, right? Your lifestyle feels more free, and there's definitely abundance, happiness, joy, prosperity that you're in control of, because it's the wheel. So you are in control of your fate in that past lifetime during this kind of Roman warrior revolution period, and you're in control of your fate again in this lifetime. So maybe that's why we have writing, maybe the power of affirmations. I was talking about treasure, and I'm reading this charm as sort of X marks the spot, dig here with the axes. So writing, maybe you have a vision board and they're asking you to go back to your vision board, go and look at it. There is that soul link, like I was saying, and my dash tone is all about looking in the wrong direction. So if the soul link is you're looking back on your tough times, they actually want you to look forward at your vision board, right? So change your perspective. Maybe tap into this aspect of your soul, right? The courage and the bravery that you had here, a warrior, a gladiator, someone who's willing to be part of a revolution. This is all strength and courage and confidence, self-esteem, self-awareness to manifest your opportunities here, your world. So there is, issues with law. So maybe you've been dealing with a court case of some kind, or just paperwork, right? Mortgage and all that kind of contractual paperwork, a new job. It is pointing at revolution, and my bat is about changing perspective, stop kind of hanging in there and start to take flight. So I feel like whatever sort of legal or contract situation that you're dealing with in this lifetime, not in this story, but in this current lifetime, there's going to be a sense of revolution, so a sense of fairness. So this would be judgment in your favor, or things just working out so everybody's kind of happy, right? Everybody's appeased. There's calmness. There's no more chaos and anger here. As I go up to my vampire teeth on the ancient Rome period that they brought us to, this is all about negative talk. Could be gossip, or just watching out ill talk, speaking ill. Use your power of words. So we have manifestation again, writing, and now words. So writing affirmations, speaking affirmations, focusing on your vision board, focus on your dreams, not on the tough times. So in your words, right? Stop looking back and start projecting forward. Now what's changing fast here is probably your status, right? Because that's what we saw here, status. Going from underneath, literally underneath the ground and underneath a lord here, to taking off in his car, to freedom, and then his whole world, right? His soulmate love and all the fortune and freedom. So I feel this is a fast change that's available to you now in this lifetime as well. Again, we didn't see you in that sort of warrior prison-like scenario for long. That was one of the first things I saw. So I feel like your tough times are also quickly coming to an end here. And there might be a change in level, right? Your status in family, your status in community, your status at work. And there is wealth connected to that. Moneymaker, wealth. We saw that here, pot of gold. So then coming back to the prism, and this is about seeing things in a different perspective as well, right? When light hits the prism, it goes in different directions. It was touching politics, family, and next big challenge, and sort of a past life tool. So maybe it's pointing at this soulmate relationship. Be prepared You know, fast change. So there's going to be a fast change to your family dynamic. So that could be a new partner. The politics kind of surrounding that. I would say just in terms of family dynamics, right? A new addition. You're just adjusting things. Your schedule. You know, entering a new relationship is less time for other people as you make more time for them. That's really the sense that I'm feeling here in terms of family politics. It's just sort of the dynamics of integration, right? You into their family and theirs into yours. And the next big challenge, so the past life tool, is you've seen them before. You've had this deep love soulmate before. So here comes your soulmate again. If you're currently in that relationship, maybe change your perspective and kind of see each other for who you are. Maybe your you know, emotions can blind us during tough times. So kind of reconnect with each other, right? As I'm drawn to the center of the prism here, you know, the following the lines, reconnecting. And, you know, possibilities are infinite. That also comes from this charm. You know, the line never quite stops. You know, there's no starting and ending point. Coming back to power manifestation here. So very interesting travel back to the past here for group 1. Hopefully you got some messages and something connected with you with present day. You can go ahead and pop away now. I am going to go and clean up and get the chart ready and the cards ready for group 2. We'll just do a quick change. We don't need the stone. Okay. Okay, if you were drawn to the second deck, second card here, or maybe it was the random stone that I chose that drew you in, we're going to look at that card before we kick off the reading, but first I want to do the charms, see where we fall, and then we'll get some cards to help elaborate the past life story. And then we'll kind of jump in and see where the angels are taking us. They're just discarding. We're gonna see, you know, who you were in a past life. What was that life story, right? Who were you? What did you do? Maybe there's parallels to this life. That's usually how the angels like to do it when they invite us in and welcome us into the Akashic records. You know, it's always an opportunity for the angels to give us a lesson to make sure we're on our soul purpose journey here. Okay, we look to be over here with the family link. Some kind of achievement maybe, or maybe seeking closure. Oh, no, family link hurt. Okay. So maybe this group, you know, maybe there's a family story, a cyclical repeating story that you're doing. I'm just gonna see if they're gonna give us like a time period, see where we're going. Oh, did I say that? So I guess we're here, kind of over the 1700s, I'm getting. Also the Danish Empire. It's kind of, I guess, that area geographically. And I'll just do a last pass. Okay. Mesopotamia really stood out to me there when I was touching the courage and the bravery. You know, it came before the creation of Babylon, sort of that time period. So we're actually in the BC period. We're going pretty far back here. Pretty cool. That's pretty nice. Definitely wants to sit on tough times. Sort of this is, you know, negative gossip. So maybe you dealt with a scenario where, you know, gossip, maybe family gossip, because we have the family link over here. You know, rumors may have affected you in this timeline, this time period. We have transparency, kind of seeing things. And it's touching both, and I was drawn to 1700s. So I'm not sure where we're going from you know, 1600 BC here, unless it's not BC. unless they just want the 1600 to the 1700s to 1800s. Maybe there's a bit of a mixture of us here, because they want me to go back to Mesopotamia here, back to Babylon. Maybe it's just empires. Transparency between these two empires. You know, the Babylonian Empire, the creation of the empire. Maybe you had to pick sides. Maybe you were spying, because there's transparency here, so maybe you were looking at both sides. Maybe that's why I have Russia, Danish. Okay, and then we have some recovery. Reconciliation, recovery, and love here, which seems juxtaposed to a family gossip situation here. So let's see. Let's get some cards and see what story comes about before we jump back into the charms and their thorough meanings and sort of the lessons that they stand for, the messaging, the motivations. So I'm just going to go where they're drawing my attention here. And they want me to come back here. Okay. All right. I'll keep the cards close by in case we need more clarity. So we're going to start with the card where we're starting here. The card we were drawn into as we come into this past life. Well, we definitely get the sense of family right off the bat with, you know, grandson here standing behind grandpa. You know, he's protecting him, maybe from these harsh times, these individuals. Maybe there was a separation of family. You know, maybe the patriarch of the family came in and wanted to protect you and maybe separated you from the family pack, right? Everything's boarded up here and they're trying to reach through and come for you, come get you, come pick you up. I'm definitely getting a strong sense of that grandfather, that ancestor here. You know, the head of the legacy, kind of protecting you, seeing you as the protege here, the successor. Successor. We do have emperor. You know, the creation of Babylon, going back to sort of this battle of empires. So we have the emperor battling of empires. Maybe you were the prince or princess, right? You were the next in line. That definitely would make sense with family drama if people weren't expecting you to be the chosen one, to be next in line, right? If we look back historically, especially with royal families, we see a lot of having to protect the firstborn, right? Maybe that's why it's the son here, the grandfather protecting the firstborn here. I was just pausing because I wanted to see if it was connected to any of the historical facts about rules around the firstborn being taken or like drafted, or even potentially, you know, end of life kind of rule, right? When they come into the home and take the child. I wonder if this is like a standoff here. You know, he's not going to be drafted into your campaign. Okay, let's see the rest of the story here. I'm drawn into, because we're starting over here with the family link. And we have contrasting cards here. We have the matriarch and we have the patriarch, and they're not in agreement. They're not in alignment. You know, she has all these family members on her side, right? Or if I come back to kind of the Babylonian time, maybe this is the sort of the female entourage, I hate when words elude me, even though I can see it. But the emperor's kind of wives and other wives and girlfriends, yeah, that kind of scenario. But they're all together here. I wonder if they were trying to rise up. She wanted her firstborn to be the next in line, and he knew that, so he's trying to protect you here. Maybe a plot caught, especially in this time, if there's a battle between empires. This transparency. I was talking about spying. Maybe somebody in her entourage here was the spy and informed the emperor here and kind of saved you. There is this conspiring, right? Because in the middle is the man here. I feel like she's trying to put her chosen one here on the throne, in position of power. So this could be the two battling empires, right? Who's next to be on the throne? Is it her son? Is it you? Okay. I do feel like there was a battle later on. So as you grew up, so maybe, you're going from, I don't know what that is, like 6, 7, 8, and now you're younger. So I would say, especially just tapping back into this time period and length of time humans lived. So this would be like your bright early teens when you're matched off and married off here. And so we kind of have all these suitors coming in, but there's ill intent here, and you're definitely saying no to these matches that are coming in. Yeah, no thank you, no thank you. Now there is a sense of success in terms of you being the successor, taking over, rising up to being your own pretty historically impactful leader here. It kind of has the fashion of a great shaman or a great chieftain here. And you are sitting on top of your world, right? And kind of the lineage and the legacy that your grandfather established here. You've taken it over, but you've established your own. You've set your own here. And you are alone. I don't see you in a relationship. So solo rule, maybe. Okay. And then I feel like you brought the peace and the calmness during your rule. But once your time passed in that rule, so once you established your legacy, maybe you fixed everything, chaos just ensued, right? As soon as you were laid to rest, the revolution, the warring between family, just kind of all started again here. So maybe you're doing a second pass to see if you can change that outcome. Maybe that's why you're drawn to this card, and the angels are bringing us in, because we have family drama over here again, right? We have family link. So you may have asked as a soul to come back and experience this family gossip, this family turmoil, right? The inner fighting between family members, picking sides, right? We saw that here, picking sides. And if you're the spy, you're the one going in between with full transparency. Trying to keep the peace as well. It is an olive leaf here, right? It's a leaf extending the olive branch. Maybe that's why I was seeing the friendship, recovery, friendship, reaching out the flower. I'm trying to be the peacekeeper, and the angels in love. So you're definitely a peacekeeper here, as I was feeling into the calmness and the peacefulness of this vibe, and after your passing, chaos resumes. But you have the bravery and courage to swim upstream, and try this again. But it looks like it took you a while, because remember I was fighting with the years here. Why are we back in BC? 1600s BC, but then they jump us to 1700s to 1800s. So this may not be your first time trying to conquer and make a better outcome. You continue to play the peacekeeper in the family. You continue to be the successor as well, in terms of taking over the legacy and pushing it forward, and trying to do so with kindness and thoughtfulness and consideration. But for some reason, when you leave, the family energy, the family lineage, starts to go back to warring, to internal fighting, right? This could be siblings fighting each other, kind of going after each other, which I did allude to in the opening kind of scenario here about, grandfather protecting the successor from, family coming in to attack. So just going over here, we have major transformation. So I was saying in this present time, this present lifetime, you have the ability to transform this family story, this family dynamic that your family of souls keep entering into. It looks like the main issue, the main root cause of all of the family drama is envy, jealousy, seeing others excel maybe faster than their own path, right? We were seeing not seeing eye to eye. My son is better suited. So if your family of souls can all come together and learn that you don't need to be envious of each other, you need to be supportive, right? It's the shoe lifting up the butterfly here. You're lifting her back up into the sky. So, as a peacekeeper, you're probably surrounded by family members that struggle with jealousy, envy, self-doubt, all of that. And then when I get my little turtle here, this is like incoming news, incoming advice, which might just be this reading, because you did pause and come here today to kind of receive this message. But it's also influence here. Your ability to influence this change through your own knowledge, right? Your own experience, having done this story before, way, way, way long ago, and bring it forward back into this story. So, I think you need to quiet the negative talk if you can. Maybe focus on your feedback to family members, or how you respond or not participate when they're talking ill of others. How do you become this peacekeeper? How do you help them transform as well? Okay. So that was an interesting kind of trip. So if you weren't drawn to card number 3, you can pop away now. I'm just going to do my organic cleanup. But I did like how they're encouraging you, to continue. They are acknowledging it's tough times. You're swimming upstream here in terms of helping to resolve these lingering family issues, which the family drama, again, stemming from this. They're very specific about it being an emotional space, an emotional trigger for the family. Okay. So if you were drawn to card number 3, welcome for joining. I'm just going to put it to the side. We're going to start with charms first, give us a sense of where the angels are taking us in the past, and then we'll complement with some cards to further get some clarity on what that life story was. Okay. And usually if the angels are allowing us to go back to a previous life story, a life journey, there's probably parallels to your current life. So that's why you've been drawn today to this reading. I'm just pausing when I feel movement. Just want to see where it wants to fall. I thought it was here over the starseed, but maybe it's up here on the soul purpose. Okay. Interesting that they didn't want to pick up too many charms for this group. They discarded quite a bit before I came to the chart here. So maybe we're going to get a very, very direct message here as I come over to the planned connection here. Sort of planned opportunity. It was planned for you to come to today's reading. Okay. I'm just gonna fix that up. Definitely want to go in tropical place. Next life. Oh, so we're getting a peek at, so I guess we're gonna get a look back at a life that's paralleling this life so that you can make a major change, major impact in this life so that your next soul life will be a level up. That's why it's an angel wing. So your soul is maturing, your soul is growing. You have an opportunity in this lifetime. So you must be on, you know, conquering this lesson for the 10th time. Whatever the angelic rules are for a soul to be fully aware and fully, I guess, like an expert in that like life lesson, right? Interesting. So we're gonna see where you guys are kind of going next, or the possibility of where your life journey, you're gonna change your life story here. So we're right on the border here of artistic, Ottoman Empire, but right on the border. So I wonder if they're just, like I was saying, you're kind of, you're at that milestone where you have that decision. You know, do I continue down this path in this lifetime to make a significant change and level up? Or do I maybe remain skeptical, continue the course, and take a chance? Okay, so we have soul connection planned, soul purpose. I just noticed here he is pointing at second attempt, and didn't I just say this is your, I don't know how many times you had to do this lesson to level up, and it looks like you just have to conquer it the second time here. So the first go around you didn't succeed, obviously. So we're gonna do second round here at the same story. So there's definitely gonna be parallel when we draw cards to where they're taking us, but they're also taking us forward. I wonder why they're bringing in motivation for you here. And we've got explore and adventure, you know, the unknown, the unknown, the unknown. Okay, let's get some cards. Okay. Oh, looks like we're going over to what's next. What's the opportunity, the possibility? I apologize, I am sticking a little bit here to my pad to reduce the noise of the charms because it's a bit humid weather right now in Canada. A bit of a heat wave hitting us. A humid heat wave. Okay. All right, so let's see. Where are we starting? The helicopter ride. You're taking off out of here. That's really what I'm getting. You're taking off towards the sunset, right? You're taking like your victory flight here, right? You're all in the angelic gold. This is you and your guardian angel by your side, just doing one more pass on this life story, and then off you go, right? It's buried in the past here, the lesson that you were to learn. So I think you've already succeeded. It is the Sun card. So there's absolutely no question in my mind that there's a challenge waiting for you. This is reconfirming for me that you've already succeeded. You've already passed this life lesson. Your soul is leveling up 100%. That's why we're getting this sneak peek to the next life. But yeah, take your victory lap here, right? That's what I keep getting. You know, you're taking your the flyby over the crowd, right? You're kind of waving to everybody, sayonara. You know, I'm off to the next level, souls. You know, when you get a promotion, and you kind of or you're heading into retirement, right? And everybody's congratulating you, and you're kind of waving on to that next chapter, that next phase. So your soul's about to head into a next brighter chapter here. But let's start with what was the life lesson here. What was the journey here that you had to figure out, and why is it connected to exploring and being an adventurer? I'm trying to put the cards out so you can see them, but I also know where the charms are going. Okay. We definitely have a life lesson here in terms of connecting in with your emotions, really conquering that emotional space. Your headspace is clear. You have good balance of head and heart here. A good understanding of when you need to reach down deep or think logically here. And there's a strong emphasis here on your power of manifestation. You know, your earth angel here, your crow, is bringing you the key to your dreams, right? They're delivering it. You've asked for it. So your power of manifestation and your solid control over emotions. So you definitely have embraced that in this lifetime. You've worked on it. You've conquered it. So I paused because I looked down at the card as I was about to bring it up, and I was hearing child already because I was looking at my art palette here. And this is about childhood. So I think something profound happened in your childhood. You know, something profound enough that you basically made the decision, not me. You know, I'm not going to be that way. I'm going to be someone who's level-headed. I'm going to be someone that pursues, you know, I'm going to daydream, I'm going to vision board, and I'm going to pursue that. But you made that decision based on your childhood experience here. And I feel like you're returning to a childhood passion as well. That's what the palette here, the power of manifestation. So this is childlike whimsy, child imagination, creativity, and you've returned to that. You know, you've picked up your bucket. You know, probably as an outcome of conquering your emotional space and believing in yourself, you've gone back to your power of manifestation, creativity. You've been exploring that probably. It does come with the caution of overindulging. So maybe you leaned into that too much. You know, maybe you escaped, disappeared from people, disappeared from the world, and went into your dream landscape. It worked. It definitely shocked your system here. It got you to the place you needed to be. But there's a caution here to stop doing that now. You can kind of pull yourself back. You don't have to daydream and manifest so hard, right? You put in the work. Your sandcastles here are built. Your pillars are, your foundation is laid, right? Your pillars here are laid. So now you can just take a break, take a rest. You know, just make sure you're not overwhelming yourself here. Okay. I like how he's in full contrast to the more muted, right? I see a lot of green, which is healthy. It's also wealthy. You know, it's health and wealth rhyme for a reason. You know, he's got good news. He's got positive news incoming. The flag is almost up, and he's just kind of sitting here waiting for it. So you know you got positive news incoming. Whether it's this reading, this is your positive news that you've learned this life lesson and you're leveling up as a soul. You know, your next life story is going to be different, right? Coming back to that victory lap. Maybe that's why I was putting it up here. So I think the remainder, you know, maybe the balance of this lifetime, you're going to be, you know, living the lifestyle that you want, right? You're smiling. You have everything that you need. All your tools are with you, and you're in your happy place, right? He's purposely chained himself to the front lawn here, to his wealth. Okay, so we've got victory, gold. We've got wealth and health and prosperity and happiness and joy. Okay. Well, you know what? I don't think this is a what to do. I think this is what you did. So we had the second chance, right, under this card. Second attempt, same story. We've got the crow. Oh my God, it's sticking to my fingers here. We've got your angel messenger, and then we've got the bird shears here. And this is about cutting your cords. So you succeeded in cutting the cords. So you must have walked away from relationships or what does not serve you, right? We hear that a lot in readings, and people say that a lot to us. Let it go, walk away. And it looks like you did that. You were just like, nope, and not for me. And you're following your soul purpose here, your magical moment. Miracles come true, right? Dreams come true. This is coming through again after this card, which was put right beside it. So I would say in this lifetime, you probably chose to put those negative influences aside from your childhood, those childhood experiences. You said, I don't like that. So I'm going to go my way. I'm going to manifest my passion, my dreams into fruition. And you have done that. You have succeeded that. We have a soul connection that's planned here. So there's somebody about to cross your path, but you need to change your perspective or you're going to not see them. So maybe you're wallowing a bit in self-doubt. Maybe you've been questioning if you made the right decision. Maybe you haven't landed in your field, or maybe you're not quite feeling victorious yet, even though you have been. Wealth is incoming. I did say good news is incoming. Maybe your form of good news, your form of happiness and joy here is a new partner. But there's a soul connection. So whether that is a connection for wealth, a connection for love, family, whatever will complete your life, your dream life, that soul connection is coming. But you got to change your perspective. So I don't know what you're doing right now. Maybe you're isolating. Maybe you're just staying in, right? He's hanging in the cave. So stop hanging and take flight, right? Maybe you just need to get out there and socialize. And maybe that's why this is online, because like I said, I'm not really being drawn into anyone except for maybe artistic. But this is like making friends, making new connections. I don't know why I started to lose my voice and get quiet. Maybe that's something you're nervous about doing, or you just started to do. You were quite focused over here, so maybe you put relationship off, and now you're starting to get back out there and into community, or your tough times have come to an end, so now you're just resurfacing with everybody. So there's this tentativeness here with you being on the line. So I think you haven't quite decided yet, am I going to do this, or how many people am I going to go see? What am I going to do? We have tropical place. I'm skipping the angel wing because we already talked about how this is your soul going to a new soul life story. But tropical place, we have the rose-colored glasses here. This is about changing your perspective, so we have that twice. But it says tropical place, and it's encouraging to change your perspective on that. So maybe you're predicting where we're going here. When I look in the cards here for this next life, maybe you've said in your mind or thoughts, oh, I hope I'm going to live in a more tropical place. I did talk about the heat wave that we're having when I did the intro for this group. And maybe they want you to maybe not focus so much on the destination. There we go. Now they got the message out of my mouth. Don't focus so much now on your destination. Maybe we're coming back to the power manifestation. So let's see what's in these three cards. 1, 2, 3. Maybe they're just open cards, like open scenes. Maybe in the next life, you're going to have a full restart here. You're going to have the power to kind of create things, like maybe more authority, maybe more power in the next life in order to kind of be the one that champions and creates things, makes change. Okay. We are seeing people celebrate you here, right? The crowd is cheering you on, the acrobatic act here, showing off his magnificence. But it's the hangman, so it's a change in perspective. So I wonder if the next lifetime, the next time period that your soul comes back, if you're going to be able to have like a global impact. Maybe you've had more of a personal impact here in this lifetime, and now you're ready to head out, right? You're saying, see you later, where you originally, this little building. And now you're out there, right? You're out there amongst the people. Didn't we just say that? You have a decision here. Maybe when you go back to planning your soul journey with the angels, there's an opportunity for you to choose. Do you want to get out there? Do you want to be this person? You know, do you want to be victorious and have global impact in a positive way? Because they are celebrating you. So this is a positive, you know, this is kind of an end of war scene, right? When everybody hangs out the windows, waving flags and welcoming all the soldiers and family members home. Okay. So remember we had changed perspective on the tropical place, and then here she is sitting on a beach. Doesn't that say, obviously that's tropical. They're out on a boat as well. But I feel like this, see how she's in isolation? She's all alone. I feel like maybe you lived much of this life as an independent spirit. You know, you're alone here as a child. You're alone in bed. You're alone with your feelings. You're even kind of alone here as you start to bring in the family here, right? The car is just pulling up to start to unload. So I feel like they're saying you have two choices here, because these are kind of more vibrant to me. I'm pulling that way. So you can have a different life story, but you'll still be very independent and spend much of that alone, but you know, in a tropical place. So the angels will let you repeat this again. You know, a different life lesson, but the journey will be quite similar. Or you can explore, right? Coming back to adventure and explore. You know, she's out on the boat, she's with people, she's meeting different people, all these different souls. So I think you have an opportunity, talking about cut the cord here as they draw my attention back. These can be a whole new set of souls that you're going to plan to come back into life and experience life with. So maybe you've had some negative people, and maybe that's why you did a lot of work on the emotional space and kind of why you're alone here and solo. And you've cut all those bridges, right? You've cut all those cords, all those energetic cords with those souls, and said, no, thank you. And then this new life, this next soul path story, you're going to have a whole bunch of new people now, some fresh souls, you know, a new soulmate energy here that you can explore and adventure and have good times with, while still, you know, being someone of importance here. So they are letting you know that the next life, you know, as angels do, it is your choice if you're ready. You know, you can repeat again and just go through this cycle faster, because now you know how to do it, right? You've got your helicopter speed now, so you can just kind of go through it and go faster to wealth. And still be quite independent in that, or you can be more engaged, seen more, have a larger role, be a more prominent figure in your life, but also amongst the community and amongst the world globally. So quite interesting that group number 3 here, you guys are all about to have a level up of the soul. So congratulations to all of you for achieving your life lesson here, your soul life lesson. And, you know, have fun when you go back and talk to your angels after your life review, when you go back into planning. You know, do you want to meet some new souls and spend some lifetimes with them? Or you just want to kind of be comfortable here and just have a comfortable life, right? Do this story again, but take out the tough time and just have a comfortable life from birth all the way through. So thank you for joining, and I hope I see you all at the next past life reading.